Welcome back to another episode of Love Art Talks, the podcast that gives real talk on love, relationships, dating, wellness, and entertainment. I'm your host, K Love, and again, we are in season 3, y'all, and I'm super excited. See, I'm your certified matchmaker and love advisor, and y'all, today's episode might just snatch your soul just a little bit. Okay? In the best way possible, though. So, because today we're talking about something too many of us are silently battling, okay? And that's you keep trying to prove your worth, loving. I need y'all to stop that. Just stop right now. Stop it. And I just want you to let that sink in just for a moment. You keep trying to prove your worth loving. Think about who you've been doing that with. Think about who you've been trying to overdo things with. Yeah, think about that. You've been trying to earn love, to deserve care, to convince someone to choose you. But let me tell you, love is not something you perform for. It's something you receive because of who you are, not what you do. Okay? So let's talk about what I mean by perform. And that's called like performative love, right? You ever find yourself doing the most in a relationship or just for someone? And, you overextend, you become emotionally like available for someone who gives you crumbs. You turn into their safe place, their cheerleader, their therapist, their peace. But the second you need something, suddenly they're not available, or they're distracted or dismissive. They're too busy to talk. And let me say this with love to you. If you have to perform to be loved, that's not love. It's emotional labor disguised as a relationship, y'all. Real quick, I like to talk about little personal things. There was a time, I'm not even gonna lie, I was the girl who bent over backwards. And bent over backwards. I thought if I just showed how loyal I was that how ride or die I could be, that they see me, that they stay, stick around. But what I realized was the people I was trying to prove myself to, they weren't capable of loving me in return. They were just drawn to what I could do, what I could give, not for who I was. Okay, and let's get real. It wasn't just romantic relationships. It was friendships. It was family situations where I felt like I had to constantly earn my place. Since I was young, y'all. And that's trauma. That's emotional conditioning. And that's something we unlearn, right here. We're going to do that together. So ask yourself. I need you to just ask yourself, pause and reflect real quick. Are you constantly giving without being poured into? And do you feel anxious if you're not doing enough in a relationship? Or do you feel and do you believe you have to prove your value just to keep them? And if any of those hit home, this is your wake-up call. For real. For real. Okay? So the thing is, if you're a spiritual person, listen to me. God didn't create you to beg for love. God didn't form you in the womb for purpose into your soul just for you to chase people who don't see your worth. You were born valuable. You were loved before you even known it. And your spirit deserves rest, not performance. And the right person will love you without needing a show. There's no lights, camera, action. No, it's not that. As in the Bible, Romans 5:8 says, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. So even in your mess, you were already loved. And I listened to Pastor PMJ. He said, if they can only love you when you're broken, they were never sent to help you heal. Y'all, right there, right there. See, real love doesn't require a performance. So stop auditioning for people who don't even know how to value what God already approved. Stop it. I want to go ahead and go a little deeper because let's think about why do we feel the need to prove ourselves? Probably comes from childhood emotional neglect, abandonment trauma, rejection wounds, and family dynamics where love was conditional. And some of us grew up being praised only when we performed, right? Think about it, yeah. When we got the grades, helped around the house, kept the peace, so as adults, we start believing if I don't do enough, then I'm not enough. Y'all, just go ahead and let that pause there. Breathe through that. Think about that. Reflect on that. And let's talk about what love should feel like. So let me remind you again what real love should look like. Love is soft, y'all. It's not performative. And love is mutual, not one-sided. It's not a one-way street, baby. It's not. And love feels like peace, not pressure. Love feels safe, right? Not strategic. And love says, come as you are, not convince me to stay. So when you stop proving and start receiving, that's when you're going to notice that shift. Okay? You start preserving yourself. You start attracting people who love your soul, not just what you do for them. You stop chasing and you start aligning. You become a magnet. You're not anxious anymore. And you stop begging to be seen. And you realize you've been worthy all along. Now, I want to give y'all just a few little steps and things of how you can possibly get there. Okay? And yeah, and this is something that you could do, like anyone could do this. But first, you have to be intentional about what you're doing with yourself. So I need you to just sit with your inner child, write that person a letter, write yourself a letter, and let yourself know that you don't have to keep proving yourself anymore and that you are loved right now as is. And also start saying affirmations, affirm your worth out loud. Say it out loud. I am worthy of love that doesn't need convincing. My value isn't up for debate. And I deserve rest, not performance. Start creating new standards for yourself. No more one-sided love. No more proving. And if they can't love you in your softness, they don't deserve access to you. No. For what? For what? So get comfortable being misunderstood and get comfortable being by yourself sometimes, because in that space, you're going to find peace. You're going to find so much peace by yourself sometimes. And some people won't understand your boundaries. And if they can't, you got to let them go. Silence is peace. Distance is your protection. And God will send replacements who don't require explanations. Yeah. So, I love hearing feedback from my listeners. I truly do. The people that actually reach out, they DM me, and I love that. I get it. I love getting notes and, like I said, DMs about the show, of what you've heard. And one of my listeners messaged me and said, "Hey, Kayla, I love everything you're doing with your show. I really take in uh, the the advice that you're giving." And this person said, "I walked away from someone I love so deeply because I realized I love them more than I love myself. So I had to let them go." I'm like, wow, wow. That's powerful. And that's what this episode is about. And that's what I am really trying to do with this podcast, is reach people. So we can all be on a healing journey together, right? Okay. But with this episode, I just need you to stop performing and start understanding that you got to start healing yourself. Stop proving your worth loving. You already are. The right ones will see you. They will see you, boo. And the wrong ones will test you. Yeah. But either way, it's not on you to perform. It's on them to recognize. So stop proving it.